And I want to jump right in. I recognize that this is the longest service of the year. But I do want to share a word about our congregation this morning and hopefully how it can impact each and every one of us. So as many of you know, I grew up outside of Philadelphia, near a small town called Conshohocken. Anyone from Conshohocken? I don't think so. As a child, I was really proud of our town. I still am. I was told that the name Conshohocken was from an ancient Native American word, meaning right by the mall. Because that's where I grew up, right by the mall. In fact, as a child, I walked to the mall so many times that I can still remember every store in the mall in order. I'm not proud of it, but it's like a Monopoly board in my head. Woolworths, Roy Rogers, The Gap. Then there was a pet store, a tobacco shop, a couple feet away, Piercing Pagoda. And then in the far corner of the mall, there was a magic shop. And every time I would go towards the magic shop, there was an old man. He must have been 40 years old at the time. And he was standing in this dark hallway, demonstrating the latest trick. Abracadabra, he would say, and I would stand there mesmerized as a small ping pong ball would miraculously appear from his hand. Then he'd say, abracadabra. And suddenly these 5-inch metal rings would miraculously come apart in front of my eyes. Or these little ropes would suddenly come together. And every once in a while, I would actually take my hard-earned allowance, which was really amazing considering upstairs there was Supercade, which was the arcade. But I would pull some of my quarters together, and for $2.99 or $3.99, I would purchase a trick. And I would run home, pull off the wrapping, take it out of the package, and say, abracadabra. And nothing happens. It just never worked. And I quickly learned that abracadabra just wasn't my word. It wasn't until several years later, when I studied Semitic languages at the University of Pennsylvania, that I actually learned that abracadabra is a Jewish word. It's from Aramaic, the language spoken by the Jewish people in the land of Israel 2,000 years ago. Avra means, and it came to pass. Kadabra means, just as it was spoken. And it's actually found in the Aramaic translation of the Torah. Right in the very beginning, Genesis chapter 1, verse 3. And God said, let there be light. And abracadabra. There was light. Verse 5, and God said, let there be day. And abracadabra. There was day. And I quickly learned that from the very beginning, in Judaism, we learned that there is a unique power to our words. What is the strongest muscle in the entire body, the rabbis asked? The tongue. Because when you get hit by a punch or a kick, it may hurt, but that pain ultimately goes away. But when you get hit with words that are cruel or unkind, those words can sting you forever, long after even the person who said them is dead. And we know, all of us, that the opposite's also true. A kind word, or a compliment, or a simple I love you can last forever, even after the person who said it is dead. You see, in Judaism, we learn that words matter. You drop a Kiddush cup, for instance, you pick it up and you put it on the table. You drop a piece of challah, you pick it up, 30-second rule, you stick it in your mouth, and you just enjoy it. But you drop a book with holy words in it, you kiss it. You pick it up and you kiss it. Because in Judaism, words matter. And so we learn in the Torah, what is the first thing that Adam does in the Garden of Eden? He uses his words. He names everything. I imagine Adam walking through the Garden of Eden saying, "Hello, duck. I'm going to call you duck. Hello, dog. I'm going to call you dog." He names everything because words help us organize ourselves and give us control of our lives. And that's why I believe that the greatest gift in all of Judaism is right behind me. It's God's words, the Torah. And there's a reason that that Torah had to be given in the desert. It's not because we were lost in the desert. It's because, and we had so much time there with nothing to do, which may have been true, but I think it was given in the desert because it's in the desert where life's paths look the same. And we're not really sure where to turn, right or left. And we need God's words for direction. And so we read in Exodus 20, God spoke these words in the desert to Moses. And Moses heard these words and went to share them amongst the people. And Moses descended the mountain to share this incredible gift until he came down and he witnessed that the people were sinning. They were worshiping the golden calf. And so what does Moses do? Crash. Enraged, the text tells us, Moses hurled the tablets from his hands and shattered them at the foot of the mountain. And then God said, and now I'm paraphrasing, "Moses, get over here. We got work to do." You see, I want you to come up a second time, and we got to try something different. I'm going to give you the tablets a second time. But this time I'm not going to give them to you. I want you to carve them yourself. Because when you see people sinning, you can't just get angry. You need to be patient. And I want you to really understand these words. And so I need you to carve them. And we learn from this text that the only thing more powerful than hearing God's word is actually writing it down. And that's why this year our temple's Chazon committee has been writing down our words to make sure that we as a community are headed in the right direction. They've been working on a strategic plan. You'll hear more about this on Yom Kippur from our president, Bob Schechter. But I just want to say that I truly believe that for the last 19 years that I've been a part of Temple Beth Elohim, I think we're doing pretty well. I think we're making our way. I think in many ways we've redefined Jewish life with a renewed focus on adult learning and social justice and spirituality. And we've not only moved away from what was traditionally a pediatric Judaism in America by developing such a robust program for our adult community, but we've also tended to our religious school for children as well. In Conshohocken, when I went to religious school, I used to say to my dad, "Why do I have to go to school on Sunday?" And he would say, because I did. Now get in the car. Call it Jewish hazing. We've done something different here. Many of you may not know, but even in the 4th grade, we have 4 different religious schools for our kids to explore their passions: science and technology, or art, or literature, or a more generalized curriculum. Our community has helped the poor, welcomed the needy, and I believe we've reached out to Israel in ways that are deeper than any Reformed congregation I know. But just because we've arrived to this place doesn't mean we know the way to the future. And that's why we got to write it down. And so the committee interviewed over 700 of you. And they asked 2, I think, extraordinary questions. It wasn't like, do you want Friday night services at 6 o'clock or 7:30? Check the box. Instead, this is what they asked. They asked, what do you hope to derive from your Judaism? And the second question was, how can the temple support you? And you'll hear more about it this week, but for now, I really just want to put your responses that were incredibly complex, no surprise there, into two categories. One, people stated over and over again that what they hoped to derive from their Judaism was to connect with others, to receive comfort and caring amidst life's journey. And 2, they wanted their Judaism to challenge them and direct them by providing wisdom for their daily lives, especially through life's transitions. And I have to admit, in many ways, I wasn't surprised. Comfort and caring, challenge and inspiration. And I say that because I remember in rabbinical school, it was like the first week, a professor pulled me aside and said, Joel, that's the role of the rabbi, to comfort the afflicted, comfort and caring, and to afflict the comfortable. Now here's the challenge. It's knowing which one. You see, sometimes we want our Judaism and our rabbi to agree with us. We want to hear a sermon about a social issue with which we agree, or discuss a book that we've already read. We want to be comforted in knowing that what we're doing is right, that we're headed in the right direction. And then there are other times we want to be challenged. We want to hear the rabbi the opposite of what we believe. We want to be challenged from a deep place within the Jewish tradition to live a different life, to change direction, even if just a little bit. But the challenge is knowing which one. Comfort and community, challenge and inspiration. And so I have a request of you. I need your help. I want you to write down your own strategic plan. But the good news is you don't have to interview 700 people. I'm going to make it tougher. You just have to interview yourself. I want you to interview yourself and then write down just one word. One word that describes a virtue that you want more of in the year ahead. Or one word that is a priority for you, that you hope to embrace in the year ahead. And even more importantly, I not only want you to come up with one word, I want you to be like Moses and write it down. Our high schoolers were doing it through the service, and they passed me some of their words, and we got friends, courage, patience, love. Others may come up with curiosity, adventure, challenge, balance. I don't know. But come up with one word. And then as you exit, you are going to receive, I don't know where I put it, a card. It's a very pretty blue card. Because I want you to write down your word and then bring it back on Yom Kippur. Because part of being a part of a community is to be inspired by one another. And my hope is that we put up all of our words and grow together. And then in the afternoon, we're going to come back and learn together with what we're calling a sound collage of voices about our word. So think of one word, a virtue that you want more of in your life. And here's the High Holy Day giveaway before we go. No book, no CD, no light bulb. I got this one from the Jersey Shore. It's where we people from Conshohocken go in the summer, down the shore. Because my sister's walking along the Jersey Shore. It's like the outdoor, it's the equivalent of the shopping mall, but outside in Jersey. And she sees these bracelets. And they're called My Intent bracelets. She tells me about them. She says, you go in a store, you give them $20, and they give you this bracelet with one word. And she tells me this, and so what do I think? High Holy Days. But I didn't buy 4,000 bracelets. Instead, I bought the jewelry maker. So this is what we did. I bought 10 of them with the hopes that everyone will make one of these bracelets. And I bought the English and the Hebrew. You actually bang in these little, whatever they call them. We're not going to make them on Yom Kippur. It's a little loud. But there are going to be times during the next few weeks when we'll make them. And my hope is that you can carve your word and carry it through life's journey. And I hope you'll do it because on Rosh Hashanah we learn that words have power to give us direction in the year ahead. And after all, that's our temple's mission. Not to count how many times you go to services and whether it's at 6 o'clock or 7:30, or even how many times you come through this door. Our temple's mission is to point us in the right direction, to make sure that in this desert where sometimes the path isn't so clear, that we're headed to a land of promise, pursuing noble and joyful lives. And so let's go home and discuss our word with our family and friends. And then think of some actual steps that we can take to foster this virtue in our life this year. But I'll leave you with one thing. It's not easy. It's not easy to live a holy life. This is no abracadabra. This one takes work. But on Rosh Hashanah, we're reminded that the entire world was created with one word. And so with a word, may we be created anew. Life is a challenge, but let us meet it. Life is an adventure. Let us dare it. Life is an opportunity. Let us take it. Life is a promise. Let us fulfill it. Life is a beauty. Let us praise it. Life is a book. Let us write it. May you be inscribed for a good year, a year of value, a year of good health, a good year of the deepest joy that we know. L'Shana Tova. Happy New Year.
Our hope is that your heart may be open to your own Torah, that you may act with this chosen word for your own sake, for the sake of the power within you, the sake of your holiness, the sake of your Torah, May all these words that we land upon be acceptable not just to God, but to each and every one of us.
Kedushatecha, aseh leman Toratecha.